Everyone, so I know you might be thinking, I know what to eat, so why do I keep sabotaging myself? So maybe if you've ever had that moment where you want to eat healthy, or you're starting a cleanse, or you're like, you know what, I'm not going to eat sugar, like I really need to be good. But then the second someone brings cookies to work, or a holiday rolls around, I know for me when I was a teacher, someone would bring donuts to the staff lounge and I would immediately feel like I'd have no control, no willpower, and I'd be like, "Ugh, whatever, screw it. I'll just instead of just eating like one donut, I would like sneak and like eat like three, and then I'd feel so guilty, and I'd be like, all right, whatever. I'll just start over next week or tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow's a new day is what I'd always say to myself. So it's like you know what to do. So why aren't you doing it? That's what we're going to talk about today.
Awesome. Before we get started, hi, I am Hannah Hips, and this is Sierra Spencer. Let's introduce ourselves. Like, who are we and why can we talk about this? Well, we are donut loving, veggie eating, eating psychology coaches, and mind body nutrition coaches, helping women ditch the food guilt, stop the binge restrict cycle, and just feel normal around food again. We teach you how to trust your body, eat without obsession, and feel confident in your choices. No diets, no tracking, just freedom.
Okay, so let's talk about the real problem here. So it's not that you have a lack of knowledge, it's that you're stuck in this all or nothing thinking or black and white thinking. So you're trying to force yourself to eat perfectly. And then when it gets too hard, which it inevitably does, it's not your fault, but your brain rebels. Your brain switches into fight or flight. Again, your body doesn't know the difference between you being on a desert island where there's no food available and you telling yourself, I can't have this, it's bad. So then comes the screw it mentality. You start spiraling, you feel guilty, you feel regret, and it starts the whole cycle over again. So, why this happens is again, you think being healthy equals being strict. So, you've never actually learned a sustainable and flexible structure. You've only know extremes. I know when I struggled with the extremes, the black and white thinking. I was either perfectly on track following my diet or my meal plan to a T, or I was like face first into a bag of Cheetos. Like I had no middle ground. I remember thinking like I just want to be able to have one cookie or one donut or even like half a donut and be satisfied. Like why is it never enough? Why do I keep screwing this up? And the problem is I was relying on discipline rather than trust. And that's what we see with a lot of our clients is they're relying on their internal discipline instead of trusting their body. And that never works because our brains again slip right into that mode of like, oh, I'm in trouble and we want to rebel. Think about kids, okay? There was a study done with kids where there was red M&Ms and yellow M&Ms and they told the kids do not eat the red M&Ms. And guess which ones got the most attention? The red M&Ms, okay? We're no different as adults. So when you're relying on discipline and being really strict, it's just not going to work. You need to be able to trust yourself. So the problem is you don't actually have a system. You're just putting on this outside pressure and like crossing your fingers, hoping that it will work. So extremes like that do not work.
What the gap is, like what's missing, because you know how to eat healthy. That's not enough, right? Because there's so much information out there. You have so many different ways to eat healthy, but why are you not doing it? You need to understand what's actually happening and what to do instead to really help you feel confident in your food choices. So here's what's missing. So you're trying to follow rules instead of learning how to follow like your natural rhythm. We talk about mind body nutrition, talks about aligning with nature. So when we're following nature, our body is going to operate in its best way. When we're trying to follow rules that don't really align with like our natural instinct, it's going to be extremely challenging to stick with it. And also, it's going against what our body naturally wants to do. So you're reacting to stress, shame, and guilt and not responding with care. We talk about being curious, like being curious about what's going on is going to help you understand what you truly need. So, a lot of times we're using food to cover that stress or we feel guilty, so we're just like say screw it and just go for the whole bag of cookies instead of just a couple cookies. We want you to be able to respond with care, really listening to what your body needs. It might be some water. It might be actually a full nourishing meal. Yeah, it might be a snack. Maybe it is a donut that you need. Really getting into that instead of just trying to react. We want you to more respond to what is happening. And this is where you learn the tools to be able to ask those questions, to be able to respond instead of react to any situation or emotions that are coming up. Um, you don't have tools for the messy middle. So, this is where what I was just talking about, this is where we come in to really help you. There is kind of a mess, right? Like we react to an emotion. We don't want to feel the emotion, so we reach for food. What we do is help you get into that uncomfortable area where we want to kind of like skip it. We allow you, give you the tools to be able to be in that mess, to be and then respond to what's happening. Hey, I can feel my feelings. You feel it and you deal with it, and then you move on instead of trying to cope with food with it. So we have the tools for you to be able to respond in different ways to food so you can have that healthy relationship with food and feel really confident in your choices and be able to reach for those healthy foods that you know you should be eating and actually want to eat instead of making yourself do it and demanding yourself to do it, which never feels good anyway.
So, like Hannah said, you don't actually need a stricter plan. You need a better system. And that's what we teach in our empowered eating inner circle. So, in the empowered eating program, we teach you a structure, but also there's flow, right? Because again, like we talked about, being really, really strict and using discipline does not work long term. You need to be able to be intuitive and trust. And the problem we see with a lot of programs out there, especially ones that maybe you've tried intuitive eating before, but it didn't work, or you've tried to just like let go and trust yourself, it didn't work, is because you do need structure at the beginning. You do need some help like formulating this. That's our macronutrient balance. We have handouts, PDFs, we have trainings that walk you through step by step how to structure your day so that you're getting nourished, you're feeling safe, right? You feel good about what you're eating, and as you're working through that, we introduce flow and intuitiveness because we have to rebuild that trust back in your body. So, things that we talk about that help is having, gentle journaling, looking at our patterns in our brain. We do a lot of brain science and looking at those patterns, balanced meals that actually work for real life, flexible structure that respects like your reality. Like we have women from all ages. We have women with young kids, women with older kids, women with kids out of the house, and we need to look at what works for your life right now and actually have sustainable habits that let you have a cookie or two without totally spiraling out of control.
Yeah. So we say this a lot. You're not lazy. Trust me. If you've been on a diet or like really focused on eating healthy, you are not lazy. It has nothing to do with it. And you're not broken, right? It's like what Sierra was talking about, just learning, having the tools to be able to learn different ways to have a healthy relationship with food, to be able to deal with the things, the stressors in life or the emotions that are going on in your body. So, when the reason why you're not doing eating healthy is because you're resisting diets because they don't work and you know they don't work and you don't want to have to get back on the wagon again because you've fallen off the wagon too many times and gotten bruised, right? So why would you want to continue to do that? So you just haven't learned the empowered way. Empowered Eating Inner Circle is now open, our coaching program where you get to be with other women and work through all of these things and heal your relationship with food so that you feel good. We're going to close that gap. The eating healthy and why you're not doing it, we're going to close that gap so eating healthy becomes easier, manageable. And if you have a cookie, it's not the end of the world either. We help you find what Sierra was talking about, that intuitive way of eating, because there's sometimes where you're going to want to eat really fun food. We call it fun food. And there's going to be times where you're going to eat healthy food and there's a nice flow and balance to it. So the doors are now open. Let's talk about this.
And you know what? We know how painful it is to be really smart, very capable, very successful women that we work with, but yet feel so out of control around food. We hear that all the time, Hannah. Like women that come to us, they're like, I have everything else of my life is really good, but this one area. And that's the thing is that our relationship with food is a doorway. Usually, when there's something going on with our relationship with food, it leaks into other areas of our life. And here's the thing you don't need more willpower, you need healing. You need tools that meet you with compassion and structure, and you need to be able to trust yourself again. You say that you're back on track, but inside you're still battling the same thought patterns. Okay. So why can't I just eat healthy and not go off the rails? Or why do I feel guilty every time I eat? Why do I know what to do, but still not do it? Those might be thoughts you're having. And again, like Hannah said, you're not broken. There's just a mindset fix that we need to work on um, that has been ingrained for years. But that's what empowered eating in our circle does. So, because our doors are open, we are having you save up to $200 when you enroll before June 1st. Registration closes June 17th, and that's our first starting date. So you don't want to miss this summer round. The summer round is so important for feeling confident. Think about by the end of the summer where you could be if you're feeling now super uncomfortable with food, like really struggling. Think about how much more confident you'll feel if by the end of the summer you're eating healthy naturally. You're able to just be with your kids. You're able to have that cookie without spiraling. You're not binge eating anymore. Think about how much of a difference that would make for you. So, and the empowered eating inner circle is that safe place. So again, for a limited time, we're offering that summer sale, and let this summer be the one where you come home to yourself and you finally feel confident. So just comment below this video. Um, I'm interested. We'll make sure we get you all the details, and we can't wait to talk to you soon.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. And just remember, I love what you said, compassion and structure. That's exactly what it is. We're not saying, hey, it's a free for all and there's no structure to it. There is structure so that you can heal your relationship with food and do all the things that you want to do in your life where food no longer is consuming you and holding you back.